He had been sitting there for 35 minutes, 2 coffee cups on the table, one half empty, one untouched. Every few minutes, he'd glance toward the door, hoping. The soft jazz music of the small-town café played in the background, blending with the chatter of couples and friends, each moment reminding him that he was still alone. Jason Miller, a 38-year-old single dad and retired Army veteran, had seen enough of the world to know that waiting didn't always bring what you hoped for, but still, he waited. Because tonight wasn't about him. It was about trying again, about proving to himself that love and life could still happen after years of loss. He adjusted his sleeve, the faded scar running down his forearm catching the warm café light. That scar had a story, Afghanistan, 2012. But this scar on his heart, the one left when his wife passed away 3 years ago, that was harder to heal. A friend from his veteran support group had convinced him to try online dating. "You've done tougher missions, man," they had joked. "One dinner with a stranger won't kill you." Jason had smiled then. But now, sitting here with a second refill and a waiter giving him that "I'm sorry, buddy" look, he wasn't so sure. He looked at his phone, no message, no call. He started to gather his things, quietly rehearsing how he'd explain this to his 8-year-old daughter, Ella, who had spent all afternoon helping him pick out a shirt. "Daddy, you look handsome," she had said, proud as if she'd ironed it herself. But just as he stood, a soft, nervous voice came from behind him. "Excuse me, are you Mr. Jason?" He turned, and froze. In front of him stood 4 children. The oldest, maybe 12, stood protectively beside 3 younger ones. Their faces were flushed from running, and their clothes carried the chaos of kids who had hurried to get somewhere important. Before Jason could answer, the little girl in front spoke again, clutching a folded piece of paper. "Our mommy's sorry she's late." The cafe seemed to go silent for a second. Jason blinked, confused. "Your mommy?" The kids nodded. "She said to tell you she's coming. She just had to help someone at the hospital." Jason's heart softened immediately. The youngest, a boy around 4, looked up at him with curious blue eyes. "Are you the man mommy's gonna have dinner with?" he asked innocently. Jason chuckled, his tension easing. Yes I might be." They all giggled, pulling out chairs without hesitation. Before he knew it, the empty table that had mirrored his loneliness was now surrounded by laughter, crayons, and spilled juice. When their mother finally arrived 20 minutes later, hair slightly messy, hospital ID still clipped to her shirt, she stopped in her tracks. Her eyes widened as she took in the scene, Jason kneeling to wipe chocolate milk from her toddler's sleeve, the older kids showing him pictures on their mom's phone. "Hi," she said softly, embarrassed and breathless. "I'm so sorry. There was a car accident. I couldn't leave right away." Jason stood, smiling gently. "No apology needed. I think I already met half your world." Her name was Emily Carter, an ER nurse, widow, and mother of 4. She'd lost her husband to cancer 2 years earlier, and dating had felt impossible since. Her profile had mentioned her kids, her late nights at work, and her cautious hope to meet someone who understood second chances. That line had caught Jason's attention the first time he read it. Now, seeing her in person, tired eyes but warm smile, he understood why. They sat down together, laughter slowly replacing awkwardness. Emily apologized again, but Jason just waved it off. "Life happens," he said simply. "And from what I can tell, you handle it like a hero." She smiled, a real one this time, and something in Jason's chest eased for the first time in years. As they talked, they discovered how much their lives mirrored each other's. Both had lost partners too soon. Both had learned to be both parent and protector. Both knew the quiet pain of doing bedtime stories alone, of holidays that felt too empty, of pretending they were fine for their kids. And yet, sitting there, they also found something else, understanding. The kind that didn't need explaining. The kids adored Jason instantly. He told them funny stories from the army, about camels that stole hats and soldiers who played pranks on each other in the desert heat. Emily listened, laughter lighting up her face. When Jason looked at her, he realized something: this wasn't just a date. It was a meeting of 2 broken worlds trying to heal in the same moment. Hours passed unnoticed. By the time the cafe began to close, the kids were dozing off against each other, and Jason offered to walk them to their car. Emily hesitated for a second, then nodded. "Thank you," she said softly. For not giving up before I got here. He smiled. I've learned that sometimes the best things come after the longest waits. That night, as he drove home, Jason couldn't stop thinking about how the evening began, with silence and an empty chair, and ended with laughter and new hope. When he walked in, Ella was waiting on the couch, pretending not to be sleepy. "So, Daddy," she said, grinning. "Was she nice?" Jason knelt beside her, brushing her hair aside. "She was late," he said, smiling. "But it was worth the wait." The next day, he texted Emily, "Coffee again sometime. Maybe this time, no apology needed." Her reply came instantly, "Deal. But only if you bring your daughter. Mine want to meet her." Weeks passed, then months. Coffee turned into dinners, playgrounds, and movie nights. Their kids became friends. Jason and Emily didn't rush things. They built slowly, with patience and honesty, like two people who knew how fragile second chances could be. And one evening, as the sun set behind the park, Jason looked around at 6 laughing kids chasing each other through the grass and Emily sitting beside him, her hand brushing his, and he whispered, almost to himself, "Guess my blind date wasn't empty after all." The story didn't end with fireworks or grand proposals, it ended with healing, laughter, and love found where neither had expected it. Because sometimes life doesn't give you the story you plan. It gives you the one you need. And if you're still watching this, take this moment as a reminder, no matter how long you've been waiting, your story isn't over yet. Heart like this video if you believe in second chances. Subscribe for more stories that remind you hope always finds its way back, just like it did for Jason and Emily.